So there are just some things that you cannot do, things that you should never do in the United States of America. Just like there's some things that you cannot do in particular places, there are very many things that you might not even know that you're not supposed to be doing in the United States of America. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you some of those things that you just should never do. Like if you've really watched this video, these are things that you shouldn't do. So some of these things are actually the law. Like the law commands or prescribes that you do not do these kinds of things, because when you do, you're committing an offense or a crime or whatever, or you can actually be fined. And some things are actually things that you shouldn't do to just prevent yourself from being in situations that are going to put you in trouble. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, if you're seeing my face for the very first time, my name is Rachel Agasha. I'm an immigrant from Uganda. On the channel, we talk about everything the United States of America. I share my experience. I won the DV lottery in 2021. I moved to the US in 2022 in August. And on the channel, I share about the DV lottery, the tips. I share the challenges that I've faced, the things that I think you should know before you move to this country, the things that I wish I knew before I moved to this country to make your life a little bit better. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. If you have suggestions, you have things that you want me to talk about, also leave those in the comment section. Please don't feel the need to attack me. Don't do that. Don't feel the need to attack me, because I'm simply sharing from my opinion, from my experience. And if you have an opinion of your own, be sure to leave it in the comment section, because we use all this information to inform people out there who need to know this information. Okay, I have just talked. I've said honestly way too much that I should be saying, but yeah. So let's get into this video. Thing number one is, in the United States, because it is on rare occasions that the police will actually stop you, yeah, but when they do, please don't feel the need to get out of your car. Now, these police officers live on edge of, like, you know, just like as much as there'll be those shootings, you know, it's two-way. So these guys are cautious and everything, so you might end up in a situation that you wouldn't want to be in. So if you're driving and you are stopped by the police, just keep your hands where the policeman or woman can see them. Don't get out of your car until you're asked to get out of your car. That is thing number one. Thing number two, do not move around with alcohol bottles. Don't do that. That is actually an offense. So you cannot do that. If they found you, you know how you go to like the park and you guys are having maybe a party or you're having fun, even outside of your house. You can't be out with bottles of alcohol. You don't do that here. So you might want to put your alcohol in disposable cups to just stay away or stay out of trouble. Yeah, I know that you'd be fined if that happened. If a police officer or anyone reported you, that would be trouble. So you don't want to carry your alcohol around in bottles. Put that somewhere where, you know, no one is going to tell that you're taking alcohol. Yeah. Thing number three, do not feel the need to call someone's pet an animal. People out here are dog moms. People are out here treating their pets like their children. So you do not want to be on the side of that one person who feels like their dog is everything to them. Yeah, you have your opinion. Please keep it to yourself. You just do not want to know how that is going to end. So people here love their pets so much and treat them like their children. So you want to be careful what you're saying around someone who actually loves or owns their pet. Yeah. Another thing that you want to make sure you're not doing is don't ride in an ambulance. Like, do not feel the need to call an ambulance. Now, that's not an offense. That's very okay. But I'm telling you not to, because that ambulance will be on time. They'll actually do everything so well, so perfectly. But you are not ready for that bill. No one tells us that that ambulance ride is going to come with a bill that could be way more than your paycheck, or even everything your paycheck. Now, I do not know what kind of job that you intend to do or what kind of job you already do, but if you can Uber there, or if you can ask someone to drive you to the hospital, please do. I mean, it's already expensive as is to be sick, because those bills are insane. Like, there's something about this country that I've actually failed to understand. Of like, if there's anything that I miss about my country, it's that. Of like, I think it is because we rarely get sick. People here actually rarely get sick. So you find that the kinds of diseases that people have are either these really hereditary things, or maybe lifestyle diseases, the flu, seasonal diseases, of which there is vaccines and shots for all these things. So I still don't understand why the medication and health, everything health is up that side. So if you can avoid getting sick, please do. I mean, if you can do all these concoctions, if you can stay safe and clean and hygienic and do all the things that stop you or prevent you from getting sick, please do. Because if you can avoid it, please don't get sick in this country. Another thing that shouldn't do is get sick. Like, don't care. Do not get sick, okay? Another thing that you want to make sure you're not doing is bring up this whole politics conversation. Do not do that. Do not do that unless you're with people who you know, people who you actually know, people who you understand. Don't feel the need to bring up a political conversation. Why are you doing that? You see, people here have different opinions about different things, yeah? And people take offense over different things. So you do not want to be on the side where you're offending people because you're sharing your opinion. No one cares about your opinion. Please keep your opinion to yourself. Like, for the safety of it, for the peace of mind, because that will not end well. Unless you're with your friends, people who you know you've probably had this conversation with before. Don't feel the need to start this conversation where people are not on the same page with you. So another thing you don't want to be doing is buying something after watching an advert. Yeah, you don't want to do that because, first of all, when they advertise, they don't give you all that information. You don't get all the information that you should be getting. So if you want to buy something, please ask. Please ask. Like, if you can reach customer care and find out, oh, how does this work? How does this whole thing work? Please do that, because I am a victim myself. So I was looking at this product and it's beautiful and all those things, and then I tried to make a transaction, actually tried to buy it. Tell me why I checked my bank account, and for something that was, I think, $34, and then I'm seeing all these amounts, 246, 198. I'm like, wait, excuse me, what are you saying? Like, what is and meanwhile, this was my debit card. So if there's a way, when you are paying for something online, one thing that you need to know is that the biggest of scammers are actually online, and anyone can be a victim, by the way. It's not even about knowing something too much or not knowing anything about something. These guys are good and they've mastered the art of catching their prey. So if you can use your credit card, because you can always call your credit company and be like, oh, you know what, I'm disputing this transaction. I had nothing to do with it. Or PayPal. A friend of mine always tells me, Rachel, if a company does not, or whatever it is that is selling this product, does not have a PayPal option, leave it. Because if they don't have PayPal options, they are fraud. I don't know how true that is, but you don't want to be using your debit card for this particular thing. So never buy things after seeing an ad. Yeah. Another thing that you don't want to do in the United States of America is get too close to people. People actually want their space. Like, whatever it is that you have to say, communicate from a distance. I remember this one time, I needed to know if there were buses going to this particular place that I was going to. So I approached this lady, and the way she held onto her bag, like, please. You know, in her head, I think she thought I'd snatch her bag or something. And she didn't talk to me nicely. Yeah. So at first I was thinking all these other things, but then I realized people just want their space, because people are they're very cautious, you know. So if you need to talk to someone, actually speak up. Excuse me, like, from a distance, make someone aware of the fact that you need to talk to them, or you need them to pay attention to you or something. Do not get close to people. People don't want you in their space. So stay away from people. Another thing you never should do in the US is dip think you can depend on public transport. Just as much as it is true that, yeah, in some places public transport is really reliable, but that might not be the case in very many other places. So if you think you've been in New York and like, you know what, I'll just use the train in Virginia or Maryland. It is true that Virginia and Maryland have, and also those other states all have, yeah, public transport at some point, but it's not as accessible as it could be in New York or in DC, yeah? So don't be out there thinking, the bus will get me here or the train. No, you want to have a backup plan. Then don't be in the US calling soccer football. Actually, if you mean football, because there is football and then there is soccer. So if you mean football, like British football, soccer, as in soccer, the game that they play with their feet, as in these footballers or players actually kicking the ball, don't call soccer football in the US, because in the US, football is actually played with their hands. Like, football is a whole different sport compared to how you would want to see, because I know it's in the US where they call football soccer, and yet they play this particular sport with their hands. Yeah, so don't feel the need to call soccer football. Now, another thing you cannot do in the US is bring up gender, those religion, sex conversations. Yeah, people here identify differently. You cannot be here calling someone him, she. How do you know? How do you know that this person is actually a she? So yes, you need to watch your language. The language here is a bit different, that you need to be careful with your choice of words, because people here identify differently, and it is normal and it is okay. So you just need to, you know, move with the trend. I mean, people here refer to themselves as they and all those other things. Yeah, so if you're not sure that the person you're addressing or the person you're talking to is a she or a he, calling them a they is much safer than you assuming that whoever you're talking to, because they're called Rachel, they're actually female. No. Yeah, so you just want to be careful with your choice of words. Just want to make sure you're not offending people in any other way. So if there are any other things, because there are very many other things I know for sure that you cannot do in this country, but as you watch this video and you're somewhere in the US and you feel like, oh Rachel, this could also be another thing, please feel free to leave it in the comment section, because there are very, very many things. And like I said, we're out here trying to share knowledge and trying to make most of these things known to the people who would not know these things. I hope I've given you a reason to subscribe. Please share the video if you feel like somebody else could use this kind of information. Leave a like for the video. I'll see you in our next video. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.